All right, what I'm going to do is when we start this webinar, it's actually going to segue the video out of the screen, and it'll actually be the PowerPoint. And this should be what most people are familiar with when they actually witness a webinar. The video on your screen should be temporarily on the side. We will come back to the video later on in this meeting just so that we can go through and ask questions or review different items that we've discussed in the PowerPoint. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the PowerPoint for the next few minutes on this instruction. This instruction is something that some of you have actually participated in before, but what we're going to do is actually go through it again so that way you get a chance to sort of see how the legal conference system works. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and this is being recorded, so if you miss something, we can go ahead and do a playback on the YouTube, posted on there. I guess not the YouTube, it's a YouTube site. All right, let's go ahead and start. Step one, log into your account. This is where we're going to show you basically where you want to go for Legalconference. Legalconference is a pretty straightforward site. If you're coming in to manage the site, you're going to want to go to the upper right-hand side, and you're going to click on My Account. When you click on Manage My Account, you're going to come into this page. It says Sign in to your account. What we're going to do is we're actually going to sign in here. I'm going to put in a username, John Doe. I'm going to put in a password. We're going to click on the Enter. And when we clicked on Enter, we're actually inside the room. Now, if you're new to Legalconference, this is the very first thing that you're going to see. It's sort of a blank area where you're going to be using for your day-to-day activities, for your folders and client material. So the first thing we're going to do is actually add a new folder. And that's going to be pretty straightforward and easy. If you look at the top, I'd say top right-hand side, we're going to be able to see the highlighted area for creating a new folder. And as you can see here, it's in orange. It's the button right up there. You're going to click on that, and it's going to walk you through a wizard on how to basically install that first folder. First thing you're going to do is you're going to see an Add New Folder, and it's going to have a lot of fields. You don't have to fill in every field. You only need to really fill in the name, maybe a phone number, and then maybe change the password. We've highlighted those areas here. Those are the most crucial items that you're going to want for your folder area. And the phone number is because as you get into more portable units to review your Legalconference account, say your phone, if you're going in to manage it there, it would be nice to have a phone number associated with that client. So that's why we recommend the name of the file, which is usually your client's name, the phone number, and then the password. Once we've added those features on there, we're going to go ahead and say Make New Folder. So we're going to click on that button, and you can see that highlighted. Once we do that, it'll activate the folder, and you can then close this window. Now, what you see now is we went from a blank room to an actual room with a single folder on it. With a single folder, you can now actually go in and manage features of that folder. For instance, I'm going to just show you really quickly on the edits. If we highlight over the folder, you're going to see that it comes up with sort of a postcard that actually represents the folder. And there's three options on there: Open, Manage, Messaging, pardon me, and Edit. Edit is what we're going to focus on right now, so we're going to click on that. When we click on Edit, we're going to bring up a special screen that allows us to modify the name, phone number, or password of that account. I'm not going to at this particular case. I'm going to go ahead and actually open up a client file and work on the uploading of documents. So we're back here in our main room, and what I'm going to do is actually go into that file, open it. As you can see there, it's highlighted in orange. Open the file and actually come into the actual folder itself. Now we've left the lobby, which is the original area that we were working with before, where you could see all of your client files, and we're now actually inside an individual client file. This is an isolated unit of storage that we can put anything from photographs, documents, PowerPoints, Excel sheets, whatever information we need to work with the client, we can actually upload that into this room. And that's exactly what we're going to do for this particular client. First thing I'm going to do is minimize the room. So we minimized it so that it is a smaller screen so I can actually look at my desktop. And on my desktop, I have a client file, and I'm going to open that folder. When I open that folder, I'm actually going to highlight an individual file and drag it over to the Legalconference desktop or the Legalconference folder area. So right now I'm dragging it over. It's going to give me a grayed out area, and I'm going to be able to highlight, it'll be able to sort of highlight that, and it's going to start the upload process. So that's what it's doing, is it's uploading that particular document to that file. Now what I'm going to do is bring over another file, and I want to try to bring over a group of them. So what I've done here is highlighted probably about a dozen files that I'm going to bring over all at once. I've highlighted them. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drag them over and bring them into that file. Once I bring them into that file, they're going to be in the process of uploading. And the uploading is actually a procedure where it brings it in. You get a thumbnail once it's uploaded, and you get sort of a waiting page or a icon that shows you a document is in the process of being uploaded. And that's what you see there is a difference between an actual file that's been uploaded or is ready for viewing, the card there in that image, and then right below the cards you see a group of images that are still in the process of being uploaded. So what we're going to do is now we're inside the client file. And here we have sort of a grouping of photos and documents and letters that we can work with the individual client. I'm going to actually go through and open up a document here, now that we've brought it into our file system, to show you that you can view it in a standalone environment within Legalconference. When I open up this Word document here, it's actually going to open it up inside my browser. So I don't have to download anything. I don't have to go into my desktop. This is all included within Legalconference system. So right here, we're looking at that John Doe letter that I highlighted. And this is the same types of fields that you would have a normal editing experience with Microsoft Word. You can file, I can do file save. For instance, if I go in the next thing here, I can click on file save and actually make changes and save that document for later. I don't have to keep moving that document back and forth between my desktop and Legalconference file system. I can just move it into Legalconference, and once it's in there, I can make most of my changes within the system. I'm going to save this document, and we're going to go into the ability to make basically a new subfolder. So right now, I'm inside the client file room, and here we saw the same images we did before, and I've highlighted up to the left-hand side the area where you can actually create a new folder. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to bring up a dialog box. The dialog box is going to allow me to name the folder. I'm choosing to name it Mr. Smith. I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to hit create. When it creates it, it actually creates a subfolder. So there, right underneath the main area in the client, I've created a subfolder for just this client. So I can go through this process and continue to make a few more, which I can go right in. I can right-click. It'll bring up a menu, and I can say make subfile. So I'm going to do that for a couple of them. And as you see, I've made them right here. They're highlighted in orange. So I can continue this tree of folders and subfolders for this client to store anything from correspondence, the documents I might be working on for the court case, the images might be stored, evidence might be stored in a separate file. All those different areas can be isolated into its own subfolder in the client area. Now what I'd like to do is actually come in and talk about moving those individual files or documents into a file. Here I went in and I right-clicked the car image, and I'm going to click on the move item. It's going to come up with a dialog box. In the dialog box, I'm going to choose to move this into the image folder. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and that will move it right into the image folder. The next thing I'm going to do is create the meeting room. And this is going to be the area where I think people are going to spend most of the time with their clients. If it's not their clients, it may be opposing counsel or even a partner of counsel you're working with. So right here, what I've done is I'm in the room again, and I've highlighted certain documents that I wish to share. And this is an important feature. By default, most of these files in here are only viewable by the host of this room and a person who has a unique password. When we created that file, remember we talked about the password? There are only two people who have access to this file. The attorney host and the individual who I've chosen to give the unique password to this file. That's it. Those two are it for this particular area. So if I want to share the rest of these documents or share a small group of them, here I'm highlighting 4. As you can see, 2 of them are actually documents and 2 are actually images. And I'm check marking those and I'm highlighting them. And what I'm going to do is go up to the top right-hand side and say public. What that does is that's going to actually highlight those with now a green check mark. When you have the green check mark, that's going to basically make those files so they are viewable for the general user of this account. Not just the file holder or the account holder password, and not just the host, but anybody I choose to invite into this room. So to see the difference between what is publicly viewable and what is viewed on the private side, right now we're looking at the private side. I'm going to go up and you can see that blue circle there where it's highlighting the public and private. I'm going to click on that to see the public side. And we're only going to see those 4 items that have been highlighted with the check mark. So as you can see, what I've done now is I am looking at the public side. That doesn't mean I got rid of the private folder. Those items are still there, but what I'm doing is in on only the items that I wish to share in a public meeting. This could be a meeting again with the council, so I don't wish to give them access to everything on there. Once I'm in this room and I have clicked on that, I can now set up an invitation and actually start a conference room. So we're here in the area where it's the public side of it, and I'm going to click on the settings, and you see the settings that are highlighted to the right there. The settings will pop out when you click on the tab on the right, and in the settings there's several things that are functioning here at the same time. At the very top circle, top orange, you can see the name of the file, you can see the room ID, which is unique file completely, and it's not shared, and you can also see a quick pass, and that's that 6-digit number to the right in that top section of that big orange area. Below that orange area, you see a password area. I can change that password if I want for the private individual, private client that has access to it. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually give an individual the quick pass, because that quick pass makes it much easier for me to share the room with the public, and it also allows for a more versatile experience for our clients. So I think that's 6 digits on there. I'm going to write those down, or I could just use this and call the individuals and tell them about it. And when I'm done with those 6 digits, I'm going to select the 2-way video so that I can invite that person in and they can join me immediately in this room. So I'm going to select that 2-way video, I'm going to click on it, and that's activated my video on the left-hand side. Now that with the quick pass, and they will show up in that bottom section right there. So the quick pass is the easiest way to bring in the public to share the documents or events in this room. Most of that information is pretty straightforward and intuitive. As you start to work through Legalconference, you'll find that this is very easy. We just wanted to give you the basics on how to get a quick start to start up a video conference. We've done this in probably less than 10 minutes. Everything is set for you to ready to start. What I'm going to do is bring back the main video of the webinar, and if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to address those at this point in time. You should have been able to go through and follow the video. If for some reason you couldn't see the video, again, this is being recorded, so you will have an option to see this be replayed on YouTube. And again, it'll be something about how to start or how to use Legalconference. And that's one of the features that you can look for on YouTube. If there's any questions, I can take those now. Otherwise, this concludes our one webinar right conference. We will have additional webinars coming up on such features as how to create a webinar, how to actually use the video appropriately. For instance, there's certain customs that are used in the video conferencing environment. And finally, another webinar, basically, what is Legalconference to the general community. Those are all the things that I have for right now. Thank you for your participation.